Hey, Tony Gasson here. Wanted to pop in. I was talking to a gentleman one time about the state of relationships, and then I hear from women all the time about the state of relationships. And one thing I want to, let y'all know, just from my perspective on this. Here's the thing: is it's real out here. It's very real out here, and a lot of people want to be lied to. A lot of people want a false sense of hope. A lot of people want a feel good story. It's human nature. It's like when I watch a movie, I want to see the struggling team that lost all the games all season win the championship at the end. When they get to the championship game and they lose, I'm hurt. I'm upset. But that's life. And my wife always teased me about that. She said, boy, if you write a movie, it's always going to end perfect. Just right off into the sunset. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. And I get it. But it's not life. It's not realistic. And so when you hear all these letters, the Talks with Tony letters, the thing about it is this is a small portion of the world. Like I have 1,879 letters left in here. Not all of them will be letters. Some people sending in testimonials or just random stuff. So it's probably 1,850 letters in here. But the thing about it is, that's 1,850. How many women in America alone? You see what I mean? 150 million, 200 million. And so you can't look at this small, little, hold on now. Somebody at my door. Sorry about that. Just make sure I ain't have to sign for a package. You can't look at this small, this microcosm of the world and say, oh, there's no hope for me. Oh, it's gonna be so terrible and I'll never meet anybody. I'll never get married. I'm never gonna find a wife. You can't look at it like that. What you have to do is you have to take these things that you hear in the world about bad relationships. You have to take it as a cautionary tale. You see it as a cautionary tale. And those mine are, oh, okay, cool. You see it as a cautionary tale, and then you learn from it and you get the knowledge from it. And that way you can move differently and you can apply things differently. Because here's the thing. I'll be honest with you and I'll tell you the truth. And God knows what he's doing. God knows what he's doing. God is making sure that, he hasn't allowed me to earn enough money in another industry, meaning earn enough money without having to talk to people, without having to coach, without having to write books on, what I know about love and relationships, without having to create courses on what I know about. And if my tech projects was making enough money to where I could live and take care of my family at the level I want to, then you probably wouldn't see me on writing books or doing coaching or having a academy, Tony Gasson's Academy. I probably wouldn't be using my gifts, my other gifts, or the wisdom that God has given me in those ways and putting it out there into the marketplace, which is fair and legal work. But I probably wouldn't be doing that if my tech projects was, to the point to where I would like them to be. And one day if they sell, for millions and millions of dollars, you might not hear from me for a little while. And God knows that. But God also knows the amount of people who me talking on love and relationships is keeping them out of fornication. It's keeping them from settling for a toxic, abusive relationship. It's keeping them from taking their life, taking somebody else's life. It's keeping them from having a child out of wedlock or even, getting pregnant. It's keeping them from so much just because there's somebody out there that they can look to and say, this person is married. I could see his wife. I could see her glow. They're happily married. He admits to his faults. He admits to being a dog. And he's teaching from the wisdom God has given him and is helping me. There are those people. who they can see what somebody else goes through in a letter, and they don't automatically allow that to sentence their life. And a lot of people can't process that, and they think, oh, well, if this happened to this person in this letter, then that's going to happen to me. Or, there's no hope for me, there's nobody out there for me, when not realizing, this is a very small portion of the world. But the other lesson, the bigger lesson, is you have to become a better person. So let me help you understand. A lot of guys, they come to me and they say, well, man, Tony, you talking like this and that, but your wife is beautiful, and your wife, she's rare, she's this and that, like these women out here ain't like that. And I say, as a man, I say, listen, I don't smoke, I don't get drunk, I don't curse, I don't gamble, I don't masturbate, I don't watch pornography. You see what I'm saying? Did I say I don't curse? So even something as small as cursing, I don't curse. So I have the wife that I have because of the man that I became. The same thing. My wife does not smoke. She does not curse. She does not gamble. She does not watch porn. She does not masturbate. She does not go to the strip club. She does not. My wife don't watch reality TV. My wife does not hang out with women who don't live the way she lives. My wife is not going and just giving into complete over vanity. Like she's stable, she cool, calm, she is the best mother. She don't leave my kids to go live her life, to go do whatever. She don't neglect them. She prioritizes them. My sons every morning get a hot breakfast. It's not a lot of kids in the world that can say that. They get a hot breakfast every morning. She packs them a lunch if they like a packed lunch. If the school is having something that they like, then they eat that at school. Their clothes are ironed. Their clothes are clean. Their clothes are ironed. Their nails are cut. Their nails are clean. They brush their teeth in the morning. They brush their teeth at night. They wash their face. My son came in the room last night. He was like, Mom, after that face routine, I'm like, do I need to go get baptized again or something? Like, my 14-year-old son has a 3 or 4 step face routine to take care of his skin. Like, that's the kind of woman I have. So that's the kind of man I got to be on another level. So the point of these videos is to help you see what failure looks like, to help you see what settling looks like, to help you see what you could be or what could happen if you don't continue to grow and to change and to mature. And a lot of times people don't understand what it takes. A lot of times people don't understand what it takes. Me and my wife, we did a walk today, and my friend is friend and business partner. He's celebrating later this month, and we going to Jamaica. So I'm like, listen, I got to get my body right. I need to do my little walking. My wife like, listen, I got to get my body right, man. We got to be on the beach or what have you, or at the pool. Like, got to get in a little shape. We got, marriage weight on us. And so we did us a walk, good little walk. And my wife, she about to go do more cardio. And so I look at that, and while we walking, we talking. And as we talking, I'm listening to my wife talk. I'm listening to her talk, and I got a whole lot on my plate. I got a whole lot on my mind. I'm working on 3, 4, 5 projects at the same time. But I didn't mention any of that because I could tell she just wanted to talk. Like, I said to myself, I shouldn't always be talking about business. Like, she's not an entrepreneur. She's not a business person. Like, we're not a business couple. So that she don't want to talk about business all the time. So we just talked about random life stuff. And every time before I got ready to say something, even if it was something that could have just been playing angel's advocate. I know y'all call it devil's advocate. I'm too saved. I call it angel's advocate. And that's a joke for those that don't know. And so even if it could have just been playing angel's advocate, I processed it in my head. And I said, is it even worth saying, like having a rift? Like we was talking about this retirement community that her friend told her about, and how these people are out there and how they live and stuff they do. And I can't remember what I said. I said, yeah, them folks probably like this. And she was like, no, it's just kind of like this right here. And then I could have went back and said, well, no, what about this? It's just probably like this right here. Well, no, you ain't think about this. But then because I said my thought and she said, well, no, it's actually just like this. I said, okay, I'm going to let her have that. I'm going to let her have that, because it's no sense in us going back and forth with our opinions about, how the elderly folks in this neighborhood get down, when they have no bearing on our life. But guess what? Just going back and forth with a meaningless difference of opinion creates a rift, because we as humans, we hate for someone to disagree with us. It's about anything. Just think about it. Like if you trying to tell your child something, or your husband something, your wife something, your best friend, and they're like, no, that ain't how it go, this how it go. No, that ain't how it go, this how it go. And a lot of families break up over a rift, over a argument about politics, about religion, about what a cell phone does. Like me and my homeboy got into it about the vaccine, and just going back and forth. And it was like, and I felt the tension. I felt it tense up about something that is meaningless in the grand scheme of our friendship. And so a lot of people don't think about, like, it takes that level of maturity in a relationship to just not say something that is very minute, very minuscule, just to keep the peace, just so that you're not having a rift over nothingness. And you've seen, like in the Talks with Tony, where I read an email one time where they going back and forth in the text, the lady and the guy, and it really just both people being on edge, and both people looking to have a disagreement, looking to get in their feelings, looking to argue about something. Same thing with the other young lady that wrote in about the man who wrote her in the DM, and she on the defense. She on the defense, and how it threw the guy off, but she was on the defense from the jump. Like, didn't assume the best about him. She immediately assumed the worst about him. And that's what you cannot let these Talks with Tony letters, or the stories you hear from your friends in the salon, at work. You can't let that change the way you move in the world, in the sense of having a pure heart, having an optimistic view of life. And what you have to do is you just have to learn how to protect yourself by setting standards. So when you have a standard, and this is what you have to understand. You can't go out in the world and say, oh, there's no hope for me. I'm not going to meet anybody. Everybody's a dog. All these men are just cheaters. All this right here. Because listen, that man may be that, but your standards can change the situation. So if you go into this relationship and you have a standard that says you do not date in the home, like you don't bring someone into your home, you don't go into their home until y'all have been dating for 6 months and y'all are an exclusive item, you're an exclusive couple, you have that standard, right? You have a standard that says you don't do anything more than a peck on the lips until y'all pass 6 months of dating. Or you don't do anything sexual with this person inside the first 6 months. I'm saying this is a standard, right? And you set these standards. You don't let a man touch you in any of your private parts. You don't touch him in his private parts. Y'all not tongue kissing. Y'all are communicating, and you're spending quality time. You're doing things that's gonna release some endorphins. You outside, you're active. You do a hike, you do a walk, you go to the Top Golf, you go to the iFly, you go to the go-kart place, you go to the theme park, roller coasters, water park. You're doing things. You go to the paint and sip, you go to the ballet, you go to the plays, you go to the movie. You're doing things that is releasing these endorphins, these feel good, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, you feeling good and you having great conversation. Not every date is something to where you can't just sit and talk to one another. And you're having great conversation, and in that process you're making love to the mind. So you're building, you have a romantic interest. Both of you are dating with purpose, but you're building on a firm foundation of friendship. You're not saying we're friends, you're saying we are an item, but we're getting to know each other as best friends so that we can trust each other, so that we can count on each other, rely on each other, and we can build. And so these are your standards. You're not slaving for this person as if you're married. You're not doing things that married couples do. You're not inviting the person in your house and cooking them dinner and they stay the night when you're not an exclusive couple. And so when you learn the red flags, you learn the mistakes, and then you write out your standards. And now here's the thing. Your standards are in your mind. You don't have a list that you hand to the person. You don't have a list that you read off or that you run off to the person. You enact the standards one by one as the person tries to violate a standard. So when it comes up, hey, can I come over to your place? No, I'm not comfortable with that yet. Let's meet downtown at, Cooper's Hall. Oh, okay, cool. So you're not comfortable with that? Why aren't you comfortable with that? Oh my goodness, you guarded, you this, you that. Hey, if that's the way you feel and you upset that you don't just get your way when you ask somebody, can you do something? When all that's going on out here. So now you didn't list that out on the first date. Hey, you can never come to my house until this date. But when you were asked, then you mention that. And then if the person get an attitude and try to guilt trip you and go off on you and make you feel bad, then that's when you say, well, listen, you could go on about your merry way. That's when you direct and real and you cut it off. And so this is where you got to get to. You get to the place to where you cool, calm, and collected, you peaceful, you happy, but you have your standards and you know your standards. And when somebody try to violate a standard or lower your standard, then that's when you check them and say, well, no, I ain't ready for that. No, we can't do that. Hold on now. Okay, no, we ain't tongue kissing. Now it's the first date. I don't know you. Go ahead. Like, hold on now. Already too close to you. So now you enact that, and then guess what? The person you with, they may be just doing what they see done in society, on a movie, what they saw growing up. And now when you introduce this standard, now the person knows, oh, okay, all right, lesson learned. Check. Okay, this person can't do this. This person can't do this. This person can't do this. Oh, wow. Okay, so in response to this standard, I need to implement that standard in my life. I need to evaluate my standard. So now you're building each other. And so now that you have a standard, now this person finna have a standard. And then you see their standard, guess what? You got to respect their standard. And now you evaluate both ways. And now you're not coming in taking anything. You coming in, you're giving. You're okay to receive. You're not taking. And so if this person, if the man says, hey, well, in dating, I don't believe in just, me paying everything because you're an independent, I'm an independent. And we're getting to know each other. So I feel like this should be a two-way street. We should both be invested in this. Because if you're not invested in this, then you're just using me. And I don't know that you like me, that you have a reciprocal like for me if you're not invested in this thing financially too. So it's not about me being immature or not wanting to do it. It's just, it's a new day and age. And there's a lot of situations going on to where men like me, good men with a good heart, are just being used and ran over and taken advantage of. And that's why I've implemented this. And so now you pause. And you say, okay. And then as Stephen R. Covey says, I think it's Stephen R. Covey says, seek to understand, then be understood. So now you say, okay, So I have a standard, and this, if you're a woman, you're saying, so I have a standard that a man can't come in my place. He can't come into my home until we are an exclusive item. So then you ask why? Why can't he come into your home until you are exclusive? And then your answer may be, because I don't know him, and he could be anybody, and he could do anything behind those closed doors and be forceful, and I don't want to put myself in that position if I don't know this man and his character, his emotional intelligence level, and how he operates. So he may, on the other side, be this great guy. And when you introduce this standard, he could be offended by that standard and say, wow, so you're judging me based on other men in the media, in the news, and I'm not that man? And then you say, well, listen, I don't know if you're not that man, but I will know later, and then I will see. So if you have a man come to a woman and he articulates why he believes both people should be financially invested on a date, and it's not because he's lazy, it's not because he's greedy, it's not because he's not chivalrous. He's opening the car door, he's opening the restaurant door, he's bringing a rose, he's bringing a card, he's courting, he's showing chivalry, but he believes both parties should be equally invested. So then if the woman says, well, I don't believe that, and I will never open my wallet on a date ever. So if the woman is unwilling to come off of, her wants, which isn't even a standard because it's a preference, and it's a want because it's not dealing with your body or your life or your health or your well-being, it's dealing with money, it's dealing with currency. And so whereas a man not coming into your apartment is a serious deal, because that could put your body, your life in harm's way. So that standard, if he can understand and respect that standard, then he is asking that the woman respects this minuscule thing, which is just money, which is currency, which even you can both choose to cook a dish at home, meet up, and be creative. Take it to the park and eat there at the park. You made something, he made something. Potluck. You can choose to, go through a drive-through, go to the park, eat, walk around the lake. You could choose to be creative to where it's not about money. You can choose to eat at home. Y'all feed yourself based on y'all individual diets, and then you just meet for ice cream, or meet for hot tea, coffee, iced coffee, whatever you want to do. But you could be creative, but that's the other side of it. And so this is where today you have to get to the place to where you can set standards, but you also can seek to understand the other person's standards. And then you meet in the middle, and you have to question what you have been taught by tradition. You have to question what you have been taught by default, by seeing what your parents did. You have to question those things, and you have to evaluate, does this make sense for me in this day and time, in this dating scene, in this technologically advanced world? Does the things I thought and believed and the way I move, does it work for my dating life or my relationship, if you're already in a relationship, in this day and age? Does it work? So here's the thing. Like my wife, she's not a chef. She's not a chef. She's not like a cook. Like, she's not the type that she finna go and cook this like crazy Italian dish, and then the next night this crazy, Mexican dish, and this crazy Jamaican dish, crazy American dish. Like, she's not the type. So she was not raised as a cook. She was not taught how to cook growing up. She learned how to cook, and is still learning how to cook as an adult, in her mid-30s. So there's this old, this tradition, this gender role that says a woman should know how to cook whatever. Like, a woman should be an amazing cook, and this woman should cook every day. Unless the man says, hey, we're eating out tonight because it fits inside of our envelope cash budget system. If the man doesn't say that, then the woman should be cooking. That's the thought. That's this old tradition, just this unwritten thing. So women of a certain age raise their daughters to cook and to clean. You better know how to cook. You better know how to clean if you want a man. A lot of women do that. So I have to look today in 2021 with a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I have to ask myself, and I have to say, okay, when these gender roles were enacted, when these gender roles were created, what was the landscape? What was the world like? From when this was created, women could not vote. Women had no rights. A lot of women had no job. And if they did have a job, there was no equal pay. So a lot of women were home with the kids because men chose not to be good with the kids. The man went out and worked labor jobs, blue collar jobs, because there was no internet. There were no computers when these gender roles were created. So therefore, men had to work with their hands in that day and time. And you're working with your hands, and you're working in the hot sun. So it made sense for a man to come home from the hot sun to shower and to have a meal cooked by his woman, who have been in this system where women have less rights and women are the homemakers, the caretakers. And so this woman, she was more so raised to take care of the home because the man had to go work on the farm or go work in the cotton fields, the strawberry fields, the orange groves at 12 years old, back when the gender roles were established. And so from the age of 11 or 12, the man, the little boys, was sent out to work in the field. And there were some women who worked in the field, but then those women who worked in the field, they also went in the house and learned how to cook chicken and dumplings with their mother. And then the man comes in, sweaty, stink, he's struggling in the world, he getting his alcohol. So a lot of times, a lot of alcoholism in the Native American tribes. That's when what happened with them with America, that alcoholism and the natural drugs, that, you know, the poppy seeds and the marijuana, all that you can grow, it went rampant. And for a lot of people, it became a business. And a lot of men got high on the supply. And so the man's coming home, he's aggressive, he's demeaning. 9 out of 10 times he's cheating with the woman who work at the market, or the woman around the corner whose husband died, or the man who he worked for that he hates. He's sleeping with his daughter. You see what I mean? He's sleeping with his niece. He's sleeping with his wife because of what she going through. And so all this right here happened, all these gender roles. And this is what I'm saying, is how you got to look back in history and you got to evaluate, where did the lessons that you live by, where did they come from? And so when you get there, now you say, okay, so I say this right here. I said, Tony, okay, look at your life today. What is your life? I said, I have 2 boys. My oldest son does elite travel soccer. We got a game every Saturday and every Sunday for 8 months out of the year. We have practice every day of the week, Monday through Thursday. We have Fridays off. And then we play games on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturdays and Sunday, we will have a Saturday, my son, if he's running cross country, my oldest, we have cross country in the morning at 8 o'clock in a whole nother county, an hour and a half away. We got to finish that. He got to get changed, wash down with a little wipe, change clothes, and we driving to a soccer game another hour and a half, 2 hours away. And now he got to play soccer And then while he's playing his soccer game, one of us got to leave and go to the younger boy's soccer game. And then when we finish that, now that afternoon, we got the youngest boy's flag football game. Or we got the oldest flag football game. And then Sunday, you repeat with the soccer. And then, or the football. And then when baseball is in the play, now you got baseball and soccer. So you juggling these things. And every day, and then school, to find a good school, the school we like, is a 40-minute drive. My wife has to drive them. Got to leave the house by 7. So my wife wakes up at 5. So if me and her up till 1 o'clock in the morning, she running off 4 hours worth of sleep. And so now she has a routine for them that she has perfected and that I cannot duplicate. And it means a lot to her to do her routine. So she gets up, and if she got to iron their clothes, then she'll iron their clothes, she pack their lunch, she cook their breakfast, she get things situated. If she have her devotional time or whatever she does, cardio, whatever she's doing in that space, the boys get up 6 o'clock, then they out the door by 6:50, 7 o'clock at the latest. Drive 40 minutes in bad traffic, get them to school, drive 40 minutes back. Then you come home, CEO of home. So now, but you may be running off 4 or 5 hours of sleep because me and her needed time every night at the end of the night because our whole day is with the boys. So when you come home, you got way more laundry than the average person because my sons would go through 3 sets of clothes a day. So if you have your school clothes, you have your PE clothes, and you have your practice clothes. And if you're doing multiple practices, then you're doing more outfits. So now both of them is 6 sets of clothes plus my 2 set of clothes plus her 2 set of clothes because I work out. So if I'm working out, she working out, that's a set. We shower, put on another set. So now that's 6 items, 2 socks, 2 shirts, 2 shorts for me. So that's more than 6 items because it's 6 on one outfit. So that's 12 items for me, 12 items for her. And then on my sons, it's 12 items for each of them on average. So now the laundry every single day is receiving 48 new items. So now that much laundry has to be done. Laundry is a never-ending cycle. But if you had a late night the night before, now you feel like a zombie. And you folding clothes. And then because you cook a hot breakfast, you got dishes to wash. So now the dishes got to be washed. So now you got dishes that got to be washed. And you got laundry to be done. And then you got a life. You got to have your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done, your chiropractor visit, your women's clinic visit. You see what I mean? So now you got these different appointments, your facial visit. So now you got to fit that stuff in. Then your husband may need some time. Can you help me with the business? Can you help me do this? Help me with these emails. Can we go on a walk like we did an hour-long walk today? So now you throw that in there. But then by 2 o'clock, got to be leaving to go pick up the boys from school. 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. So now it's 80-minute drive in the morning, 80-minute drive. That's 160 minutes, 5 days a week for 10 months out the year. So now driving is very draining when you're in traffic and you in Florida heat. So now you drain on top of drain. And then you come home. You don't get home till 4 o'clock, but you got to be leaving by 5. So you really don't have much time because in an hour, you're really decompressing from the 80-minute drive. And then you're trying to finish up a little bit of whatever you had to do, work you had to do on the email, laundry or dishes, and now you're tired. So now I get the boys and I take them to practice if I'm in town. If I'm not in town, then my wife driving 160 minutes, then got to drive another hour to and from practice. You see what I'm saying? And then got to help them with advanced homework, because the work in a private school is different than our public schools. It's 3 or 4 times as hard. So their homework for a 7-year-old could take 2 hours. For my 14-year-old, homework sometimes takes 4 to 6 hours. But both of them have an hour and a half practice, because we believe in balance and the lessons that sports teaches. So now when you got to go to practice, and if one's at practice and the other one doing homework, so now where's there the time to cook? And so and then so if you cook, now guess what? Now you got more dishes. So you see what I'm saying? So I just took you through a typical day for us, typical week for us. So then I have to look at the situation and say, listen, the woman who, when these gender roles were created, these women didn't have to drive 160 minutes. They didn't have a car. The kids didn't even go to school. And if they did go to school, the kids walked 5 miles to school by themselves. Or the kids didn't do school, or the kids did school a month out the year, or the kids had to quit school at 12 to go get a job when the gender roles were created. There were no sports when the gender roles were created. There was no soccer moms and basketball moms and hockey moms and dance moms and soccer dads and dance dads and all of this. There was no elite travel to where you're traveling to whole nother states, whole other cities, whole other counties, and you practicing 4 days out the week, games 2 days out the week. You get 1 day off if you lucky. And some sports you doing something 7 days a week, and it's costing you. Do you hear me? And when your child love their sport and they need it on their team, and you have to make crazy sacrifices. So it's other parents got to ask us, can our child go with y'all? Because they got to take their other child somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? So at that right there, you look, and I have to look as a man and say, now, where can I add my wife cooking dinner and doing dishes every day? And then people, first thing they say, well, Tony, why don't you get in there and do it? Because I'm dealing with 3 million of you. Because I have to work to provide the lifestyle so my children can do baseball, soccer, cross country, and travel. Do you know my son has had 1 or 2 games that I had to charter a jet to fit in our schedule to get him to his game? Oh, you what? You do that? I wouldn't do that if I had the money. I wouldn't do that. Yes, you would. If you had the money, you just can't imagine it if you don't have the money. But if you can charter that plane, that jet to get there, and this your child, and you love your child, and you want your child to have every opportunity to pursue their dreams and to realize their dreams, to accomplish their dreams, and you understand what it takes to make it as a pro athlete, and your child wants to become a pro athlete, and you understand that you're raising a Christian child that's going to do right, that's going to be a light for Christ, a light for good, a light for change, and you understand the platform that professional athletes have and the impact they could have if they were raised right, and you understand that, you're going to spend every dime you can to give them that opportunity. So guess what? I done did that twice this season. And just to give them a life. But it's a life on the level that God has allowed me to get to. But listen, it took sacrifice to get to that level. I'm not living like an average man. My wife is not living like an average woman. Like, we had to grow. So when you hear my messages, it's about growth. It's about change. It's about learning, getting new knowledge, and then implementing change in your life. And when you become a 1%er, you attract the top 1%. You live like the top 1%. You earn like the top 1%. You live like the top 1%. You date and marry the top 1%. What I mean is, when you become rare, you attract rarity. When you common, you're going to attract common. When you below average, you're going to attract below average. So if you see somebody and they're living a below average lifestyle with their character and the choices they're making, you can't say, oh, there's no hope. If you make the same choices, there's no hope. If you make better choices, there is hope, because you are the hope. You create the hope, and you're not alone. So a lot of people, they come and say, well, I'm this, I'm that, but I can't find nobody. And I say, well, you this, you that, but you job scared. You trapped. Your mindset is a scarcity mindset. You this, you that, but you also said you're 50 pounds overweight. So you this, you that. You have to work on yourself in every area. So you have to work on your mind. When you work on your mind, you get new knowledge. So when you hear somebody talk, you could tell if they're working on their mind, if they have wisdom from God, if they're sitting and talking to the Lord, if they're reading books, if they're studying, if they have a coach, a consultant, a mentor. You can tell if they work on their mind. You can tell if a person works on their brand, meaning their career, their job, their company, their gifts. You can tell. You can tell, and then insecure people say, oh, you bragging. Oh, you bragging. No, I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, and I'm making an example. So when you hear me speak, do I sound like an absolute fool who has not sat with the Lord and received some level of wisdom? Do I sound absolutely ignorant and like I don't have a clue what I'm talking about, and I'm just talking out the side of my neck? Do I sound like that? I know I don't sound like that because of the testimonials and the people that I meet. So I know the wisdom that God has given me and the wisdom that I have sought out has paid off, because I can help other people grow and change. When you look at my body and you say, oh, okay, well, Tony, you wear loose clothes. But when you look at my body, do you say, oh, Tony, you have just let yourself go, and all you do, Tony, is just eat, and you do not work out, and you don't love your body? You see what I'm saying? No, you're not, because you're not seeing me sit here with, all kind of excess weight on me without a medical diagnosis of why that weight is on me. Now, if I went through a stroke, or if I had a thyroid issue, or if I had a genetic situation, then that is the reason why I'm like that. But I don't have any of those issues, so I have no reason, I have no excuse not to try my best to take care of my body. Now, see, look, I talked about brain. I just talked about my body. Now, when you look at brand, do you see my mentor.life? I don't have a college degree. So my brand is not a corporate career, because I don't care enough about man's knowledge to me to become a rat in their race in a dead-end job. I care more about God's purpose for me to implement on this earth. Now, if that meant for me being a doctor to save lives, then I would have to go to somebody's college and get a degree and become a medical doctor like that. That's not my calling. But God did not call you to file papers at somebody's job. That's what your mind told you have to do to make money. But that's because you have not tapped in to God to get the vision for your life. So you're looking at someone who has created things without a mentor, without a life coach, without a team, a salaried team, who had to find and hire individual independent contractors that I don't know from a can of paint. from the man on the moon and have to entrust my vision to them. You see what I'm saying? So when you look and then you see, so you cannot say, I want what this person has. I want the relationship this person has. Because if you're still masturbating, we're not going to have the same relationship. Because masturbation is a deviation. It's deceiving your mind. It's taking your interest. It's leading you into lust. If you're still watching pornography, we're not going to have the same relationship. If you don't know how to bite your tongue and not argue over everything, we're not going to have the same relationship. You say, well, I want to have money and I want to live. I want to be able to, book a jet. That's not going to happen if you don't have discipline and sacrifice. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you're not willing to spend your last dollar in your account to get your website built, we are not the same. I have gone into the negative to film a course for an online academy. I have gone into the negative. So if you're not willing to do that, we are not the same. If you're not willing to come and make a YouTube video every day when 90% of the people don't appreciate you, we are not the same. I created a course right now, moving on. I charge $47 for the course. It's a video course that at the last minute I change and say, hey, I'm adding live calls. Do you know 2 people wrote in and said, I want a refund because I didn't sign up for a live call. I ain't signed up for live. I signed up for video. $47? And I'm giving my live time talking to people and answering questions, and that ain't worth $47? You know why? It's because people don't care about you and your brand. They don't care about you and your family. They don't care about investing in themselves or in you. They said, give me what I want. Give me what I paid for. And I say, you know what? I'm giving you more than what you paid for. If you pay attention to the video, it says this is a bonus. This is not the course. This is something that I feel need to be added. The videos, which is very easy for me. It's not draining on me to do the 7-minute video. That's easy. I'm taking my time sitting on the phone for an hour, listening to people's story, listening to people talk. That's draining. I'm giving more than the $47 when the minimum course today is like $200, especially for a coach who has more than 1 million people online. And I don't even call people followers. I call people supporters, knowing that 99.9% of the people don't even support. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people will look and try to count your pockets and they say, oh, if 10% of people buy the course, do you know not even 0.05% buy a course? That's not because humans don't support other humans unless it's something selfish in it for them. The average person won't just buy something to say, this person stepped out on faith, this person stepped out on a limb, I'm just going to support. The average person won't do that. You know what? I became that person. I became that person because I know the average person won't do it, and I don't want to be average. I don't want to be average. So I became that person. And here I am. I have people who, it's only 1% of the people, less than 1% of the subscribers on my YouTube click join, where it says join. 50% of the views don't even click subscribe. 50% of the viewers don't click subscribe. And to click subscribe, it's free. It's free. Don't click subscribe. 50% of the viewers. Selfishness. Self-centeredness. That's how humans are. See, I didn't want to be that way. So a young man made a webisode, and right now I'm working on something. I watch his webisode. I don't know how he lives his life, but I like the fact that he's producing a webisode for his YouTube, and he has 9,000 subscribers. That's a whole lot to be doing with 9,000 subscribers. Guess what? I click subscribe. You know why? It's free. It's free. And then less than 1% of people click the join button. You know why? That's the Blessed Tribe. You know why? Because it costs $1.99. It costs $1.99 to say, I support you. And a lot of the people who did that only signed up for that because I promised to do live Q&As. So they're saying, listen, go live for an hour and a half, answer 100 questions, drain yourself, and all it's worth is $1.99. That's what a lot of the people will say. And you know, people will support you and then come and argue with you. People will pay so that they could try to knock the wind out your sail. Lady yesterday, oh, I disagree. You are so wrong about this. And she is a Blessed Tribe member. And it's like, ma'am, if you disagree, take that up with the Lord. I'm talking about an abortion. She talking about that I'm wrong for telling the woman that she shouldn't have been having sex if she don't want to be pregnant. She saying I'm wrong for telling the woman that because that's insinuating that I'm telling the woman don't go have an abortion. But the woman say she a Christian and she raised in the church and her man is a Christian and raised in the church. But I'm wrong for holding her accountable as a quote unquote Christian for living in fornication and then going to get an abortion. That is not Christian like. But I'm wrong. And this woman in the Blessed Tribe. But instead of being able to bite her tongue, she trying to hinder the work of the Lord. So she trying to tell me as a Christian speaker, don't hold people accountable about their fornication. Don't shame people about their fornication. If somebody want to fornicate and then they don't want to have the baby, that should be fine. And because you say, because black women need to just stop having kids just to be having kids. No, women, not just black women, need to stop having sex just to be having sex. Don't try to justify an abortion when you don't want to justify staying out the bed. See, that's the absolute ignorance you have to deal with. When you're trying to serve people, you're trying to help people, and people will give you a dime and want $10 back. I paid $47 for videos, and now you have the nerve to get on the phone and take an hour away from your wife at 9 p.m. when you could be with your wife. You have the nerve to get on the phone for several unnumbered amount of calls for a whole hour, and you charge me $47? Oh my God. And you are one of the top coaches in the world, and all you charge me is $47, and then now you're going to switch it up and not give me the videos I paid for, and you're going to give me phone calls to where I could talk to you personally and ask you a question? I am not satisfied. Give me my $47 back. That's what you have to deal with. Do you hear me? That's what you got to deal with when you over here. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, listen, if you want somebody's life, if you want to be able to be in a happy marriage, if you want a business that earns 7 figures, if you want a life that is full of peace, if you want children that got straight A's and no A minuses and that don't get in trouble in school, you got to ask, what did it take? What did it require? Don't nobody want to hear sending their LLC business account into the negative $900 to buy a course. Don't nobody want to hear that, but that's what I did. That's what I did. Don't nobody want to hear paying $1,300 for a seminar ticket on the other side of the country with a flight that's going to cost $900 round trip, and the hotel that's going to cost $1,000 or $1,500. But that's what I did. You know what? I didn't end up going because I got booked for my own speaking engagement in the Bahamas on the same dates. But I had made that investment, and guess what? When I wrote in and told them I'm a speaker and I was booked to speak in the Bahamas, they said, okay, congratulations. But of your $1,300 ticket that you paid for, our site says we hold $400 non-refundable. So I lost $400 for a seminar I could not even attend because I had work myself. Don't nobody want to hear that. But you know what I saw it as? A seed. I didn't go to PayPal and file a claim on that man's business because that's business. I made a commitment. They committed a seat to me. Somebody else could not buy that seat because I was holding that seat. Then my schedule changed. That's not their fault. That's my situation. So guess what? The cost of me holding that seat and them not being able to sell that seat is $400 on a $1,300 ticket. I let it be. Lord, let it be a seed, and I pray that you bless it, that you water that seed. Guess what? I'm in the harvest. I'm in the harvest. And it's a harvest like never before. See, I can't even take y'all in to the harvest because of your mindset. I got 5 people out of the 300,000 plus that I could take into the harvest. I can't even take you into the harvest. And guess what? I can't even put a price on it because people will pay to hate. People will pay to discover what your business and your brand is doing because they're looking for a reason to complain. They looking for a reason to criticize. They want you to be like the other relationship coach who got called out for no integrity for cheating on his wife. They want you to be like the other relationship coach who getting called out for bashing women and then had 2 divorces. They want you to be that. And so they will buy a course to steal it. They will buy a course to find something to come. Oh, you said this was going to be in there on May 1st. It is 12:01 a.m. May 2nd. Where is it? I want to make sure that my investment is being handled with integrity. I read the email from a lady. That's what she said about her $47 because I done added a bonus to the course. Instead of saying, hey, I would like to get some clarity, she used the word integrity. Ma'am, this $47, ma'am, I could give you your $47 back plus another $47 on my own $47. And you come in here hollering about integrity out of all the courses I done created, all the videos I done made, and then you ain't paid $470 what the course is worth. You paid $447. You paid $47. I'm about to say $447 because that's what it's worth. Listen, when you have somebody, when you make 7 figures and you give your time, you know what them people charging? You know what them people charge? I just got an email from a man. We're gonna go across an hour today. I just got an email from a man. Let me tell you something. This man don't make more money than me. This man don't have a bigger brand than me. This man ain't been doing it long as me. Do you know what this man charged? I got this man email. Do you know what this man charged? $25,000 an hour. See, a lot of people don't understand. People don't know a servant's heart. from a scavenger heart. People can't tell the difference between a servant and a sucker. People will put my name in the same sentence with a sucker because they can't tell the difference, because they have not grown and elevated. See, that's what you're going to have to deal with. And see that, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. This is why I teach, because I understand you have to grow and go to another level. Do you think I'm 200 pounds? Do you think if I was 300 pounds, I would have my wife? If I didn't take care of my health, and if I didn't watch what I put into my body, do you think my wife would be attracted to me? With her being a biomedical science major and a master's in sciences, in medical sciences, do you think she would be attracted to a man that has no concern for what goes into his mouth and how much he exercises and how he takes care of his body mass index? Do you think that would be attractive to her? No, it would not. Do you think if I curse like a sailor, I would be attractive to my wife? Do you think if I drank like a fish, I would be attractive to my wife? Do you think if I masturbate and watch pornography, I would be attractive to my wife? Do you think that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I would not be. Absolutely not. And this is what you have to understand. This the world. This the world right here. And so listen, do you think if my wife cursed that I would be attracted to her? Absolutely not, because I don't curse. Do you think if she didn't care about her body, I would be attracted to her? Absolutely not. Do you think if she didn't care about our sons and put them first and take care of them and sacrifice for them and set a good example for them, that I would be attracted? Absolutely not. Do you think if she smoked weed and she got drunk every day and she, did whatever and all this right here, went to the strip club and twerked online with her booty all out online twerking, and she's showing all her body online, just trying to show everything, do you think I would be attracted to her? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I'm not that type of man. I'm not online with my shirt off. I ain't online thirst trapping. So I'm not going to be attracted to thirst trapping. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand, when you say, oh, I want a healthy relationship, guess what? You got to stop living in willing sin. You're not going to find a healthy relationship in this day and age. We was graced to be in fornication and for it to work out. That's an exception to the rule. That's not the norm. That's an exception to the rule. I'm not going to sell that to you as the norm. People say, oh, well, Tony, you and your wife fornicated, so why are you telling people not to fornicate? Because we are an exception to the rule. How many? Let me tell you, we need more exceptions to the rule, but don't nobody want to do the work. Don't nobody want to do the work. How many Christian, how many married Christian happy couples do you know of online? Online. Married Christian. I'm talking about setting a good example. I'm talking about your son could look up to the man. Your daughter could look up to the woman. How many married Christian role model couples do you know online? Have you seen 100? Have you seen 1,000 of them? You might get through your 2 hands. You might get through your 2 feet. You might get through that when you scroll through line. When you look in person, how many do you know in person? Because see, online, you really don't know what you're looking at. You just assuming that this couple living right and doing right because they what they portray online. So even online, you still don't know what they tell you. What do they tell you? Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because 9 out of 10 that look like they doing right gonna have issues that you wouldn't have never imagined. You hear me? So now in person, how many do you know? In your church, on your job, at your school, how many do you know? So that's why what I'm sharing with you, yes, it is the exception. But my goal for everybody who's under the sound of my voice to become an exception until we can become the rule. Until we can become the standard, we got to pursue the exception. We have to become the exception. So let me tell you, how many of you willing to give up your masturbation to get clarity and to sanctify your spirit? It's women, when I say that, come in the comments. And I had a woman, I blocked her butt with that foolishness. Come and talk about how healthy and needed masturbation is. Woman, if you don't shut up and get out of here with that foolishness, that's foolish. That ain't, no. God ain't make that thing to be touched on, and it's to reproduce. Oh, well, why does it have pleasure? So it ain't painful when you trying to reproduce in marriage. And because it have nerves in there. And because it work with a body. So yeah, some pleasure in there, but it's for the bed with your spouse in marriage. Because if it wasn't so, then God wouldn't have wrote it in his Bible to be that way. He would have said, listen, it's better to touch yourself than to burn. He did not say that. The Bible says it's better to marry than to burn. So I had to come into that revelation. And when I stopped masturbating, my life, blessings went through the roof. And I can't say it was directly correlated to that, but I believe that there is a reward for living a sacred lifestyle, for living a righteous lifestyle. I believe that God will grant you the desires of your heart if it is according to his will. So you have to consecrate yourself. You can't just keep doing what you've been doing and expecting to have what somebody else have if you ain't willing to make the sacrifice somebody else made. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people want today. People want the reward without the sacrifice. Oh, I want a man. I deserve a good husband like this. You're not doing the work. You're not doing the work. How many sessions have you had? You're watching free videos that got commercials on it and you complaining about the commercial. So all you doing is in a taker mentality. You saying, come on here. I don't care that you're married. You bring your butt on here and you talk to me. And when you talk to me, look me in the eyes. And you talk to me and you take time away from your family and time away from a job that you could be working and from a book that you could be writing, and do not put advertisements on the video because you don't deserve any money. You need to deserve to work for me for free because you're my entertainment. That's the mentality that 90% of people got on YouTube. It's a 10% and it barely 10%. It barely 10%. You know, it's a woman send me a cash out every week. And every time I get that cash out, you know, I pray over that cash out. I think she sent me a cash out today. Lord bless her. Lord bless her. I ain't gonna say her name. Lord bless her. Lord bless her. No matter what that amount is, Lord bless her. Because I understand that's a mindset shift. That's something that she going through in her life. She know me. She know I'm married. She know I'm faithful. I know she ain't trying to holler at me. I know she don't think the cash out could buy me. I know she ain't believing that. I know that is a mindset shift that she going. I know that for her, that is going, she doing something in her life. And at any day, I expect for it to stop. Because it could be a season that she is being told to do that. I understand that too. But see, we as humans don't seek to understand. Oh, y'all thought this channel was just jokes. Y'all thought that it wasn't intentional to give you medicine with sugar. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, you new here. So you thought I just was a clown because you get a couple laughs in a video. No, I'm trying to give you penicillin, castor oil, but that stuff hard to swallow. So you need something to chase it. Need a little juice with it. But today, I'm giving you meat and potatoes. And I don't know where the message going, but it's going to be all over the place. You hear me? Because it's about what's on my heart right now. Because I also got to serve myself. I got to make sure that my mental health is intact. So I got to call out Satan. When Satan use his minions to come into my inbox, into my comment, into my DM, to try to sow seeds of doubt, sow seeds of ungratefulness, sow seeds of all of this right here, trying to knock the wind out your sails. When people being selfish and greedy and nasty, and people waiting and hoping for your downfall, I got to call it out. I got to speak right to it. And a lot of people, and this the thing. See, the thing with humans is, people ain't happy with me. People will not be happy with me for trying to teach and give actionable lessons, but then also won't be happy with a man sitting in the dark who could be telling women off about their butt in a mean, derogatory way, but then also won't be happy with a pastor who taking his time to share his knowledge and wisdom. They'll call the pastor a narcissist. They'll call me a narcissist. They'll call the man in the dark a narcissist. And then I also won't be happy with the man who's sitting in his truck or car all the time outside his mistress' house. And I could get that one. I could get that now. I could get that. But before that came out, still was not happy with him. So it's like, it don't matter who you are. You could be married 14 years and 100% faithful to your wife, like myself, and somebody trying to dig for your past. Or what you did in the first 2 years of marriage, 3 years of marriage. Did you cheat then? Oh, you did something? Did you? Let me see. Let me keep digging. I'm trying to find some dirt. I need some receipts. Because ain't no way in the world this is a positive black man. Where's the receipts? I need some receipts. This have to be a narcissist. He got to be a narcissist. Let me Google narcissist and read some more about narcissists and see if this fit Tony Gaskins online, since he's doing videos every day. It's no possible way that there is a black man who is a Christian, who is positive, and who genuinely want to help. Oh, you know what? He's a narcissist because he got advertisements. There it goes. Narcissist got advertisements on the videos. That I know it. Oh, you know what? Narcissist, because he charged for coaching. Oh, you know, I forgot to tell you. The man who ran is not even 10% the size of mine, who charged $25,000 an hour. Go to mymentor.life. See what my normal regular coaching rate is for an hour. $350 an hour. $350 an hour, when men who doing the same thing I do. This man, he's a Caucasian. This man have a life coach certification course. In his sales email, he bashing all other coaches. He bashing all other courses. And then he's saying also that he being paid $25,000 an hour. Listen, when I ask you if you want to be a life coach, to take my life coach certification course, my life coach training course, that course is $750. When I asked you that, did I tell you in the sales email, in the sales video on the course site, did I tell you, did I brag about how much I make per hour? Did I brag about how much I make a year? Did I sell you with money? But people can't tell the difference. People can't, and guess what? That man course gonna sell like crazy. And he's selling them with money. And he's selling them a dream. Cause I doubt he getting $25,000 an hour. And I bet if he got it one time from a billionaire or a millionaire who just really want to meet him because he feeling depressed and down and suicidal, and see this guy got a brand and he is a speaker, and the millionaire want to be a speaker. Don't even really want to talk to him. I know how it happened because I'm in the industry. These people will get paid something one time, and all of a sudden that's their rate. That's what they finna sell that. That's their rate. I know good and well that man ain't getting no $25,000 no hour on a regular basis. I know good and well he ain't getting that. I already know he ain't getting that. Because he wouldn't be sending them kind of emails with that kind of copy. And you say, I ain't even saying the man's name. And you know what? You don't have a clue who he is, because I don't got a clue who he is. I barely bumped into the man on accident. You know how I bumped into the man? Because I went on Eventbrite one day, and I looked up Event, and I saw the man Event was finna be in the next city over. Had never heard of the man before, never heard of him after that. I heard of him because Eventbrite showed his event. Now he got him a little following now. He got him a loyal following. And so he kind of trying to be like a miniature Tony Robbins. And he's selling with money. And I tell people all the time, now when you take my YouTube course, in none of the sales do I say, I earn X amount of dollars from YouTube. This is why you should take my course. The other people who got a YouTube course that I have seen, they got a video showing you what they make. I'm not selling you with money. I only want you to take the course if you want to do YouTube, not to get rich. So here's the thing. When you get in the course, then I'm transparent with you about what YouTube pays me so that you can see where it can go, or have an idea of what somebody with this amount of subscribers, with this amount of videos, with videos this length, in this category, what that person can earn. And then I have a client who has probably 10% of my following. And I'm not saying her name because I'm not going to put you in her business, because she could tell you when she do a YouTube course what her name is and associate her name with her pay. But when I talked to her, she got 10% of my following, and she said, but her pay is more than 10% of my pay. And she make more than $10,000 a month. And guess what she did? A video a day, and it built her following. So guess what? She don't sell with money either. I don't sell with money. People don't even appreciate that. I got one guy that wrote me and said, man, I appreciate that you don't sell with money. I appreciate that you don't do every sales tactic out there like every other person who do what you do, who's a life coach, speaker, author, like they do. I said, man, I appreciate you for noticing that. A lot of people can't even tell the difference. A lot of people don't even notice that I don't have them in a traditional sales funnel, that I don't have a lead page with 1,000 years worth of written copy to sell them on something. A lot of people don't even realize that I send you to a website and you got a 3-minute video telling you about the course, and you got the outline of the course, and that's it. It's not you reading for 30 minutes like most courses to sell you, to suck you in, to get you to buy the course subconsciously, and you ain't even know what you just did. I don't do that. If you want my course, you got to really want it, because I'm not finna oversell you. I undersell and then over deliver. You see what I'm saying? And so here's the thing. It's coaches who take my training who make 6 figures. And guess what? It's coaches who have taken my training and implemented every single thing that I told them to implement, and they make six figures. And guess what? You know what they paid for the course? For the life coach certification course? $500. On average, $500. It's $750 right now. And one day it's going to go to $1,500. And you know why I have to eventually raise the price? Because people don't appreciate cheap. If a person pays for something cheap, they're going to complain. They complain more. People complain. I had 2 people write in complaining because I added live calls to this $47 course. And that right there, now my assistant, you get that response from a virtual assistant, with assistant name on it, that's gonna be cordial. That's gonna be cordial. That's gonna be respectful. But me personally, that ticked me off to no end, because I'm like, how in the world? If I follow somebody online and they done gave as much as I done gave, and they do a course for $47, I'm donating the $47. I'm buying I'm paying the $47, and I don't even want the course because of everything else that they done gave me. If they done gave on the level that I done gave. But see, that's not human. That ain't human nature. Humans are selfish. What have you done for me lately? And so see, this is the thing, what I'm trying to help you understand is that a lot of times you look and you want something, but you don't know what it takes. Like my wife, other than at a soccer game, she may be the least emotionally intelligent person at a soccer game. And that's not derogatory, but that's the truth. And so I'm not gonna paint no picture that she just perfect in every area if I don't see that as perfect. And nobody perfect, but I mean, if I don't see that as to be the case, but outside of that soccer field, because in that soccer field now, she finna go off on the ref, she finna go off on this boy, she finna go on that boy, she finna go off on this parent down there from the other team talking noise. She going off on everybody. You be yappy to yap. Me and her done got in real arguments about how feisty she get at that soccer field. But then guess what? Her daddy came to a game, he did the same thing. I said, okay, that's where it come from. That's where it comes from. That's in a bloodline. That's what it is. Okay, I forgive you. But outside of that soccer field, my wife is the most emotionally intelligent woman I've ever met. When you read the emails that I get and you interact with a lot of the women I interact with, you will see how rare emotional intelligence is. But then women will say, I want the life and I want the peace and the happiness that Cherie Gaskins has. But Cherie Gaskins had to do work on herself to become the woman that she is, and who she became created this life for her. And so that's what you have to understand, is this channel is about growing, so that when I show you an example of something, you got to be willing to put in the work. And you can't complain about the results if you didn't put in the work. In your relationship, in your life, in your finances, you have to put in the work. You got to do it in order to go to the next level. Do you know I give 10% of my gross income? And my life is blessed abundantly. But I give 10% of my gross income. So let me help you understand gross income. So listen, it's like this. If you pay $10, if you pay me $10 through PayPal wants 3% of that. So that $10 becomes $9.70. Okay? Because of my income level, Uncle Sam wants 40% of that. So now $4.30 is gone. So now I'm at $5.70 that I'm bringing into my household of that $10. Now I could write off a lot of that 40% and get back up so that I could bring in, $8, but just standard, right? Assuming I'm gonna pay 40% of my earnings, because as an entrepreneur, being taxed at that based on my income, it's the highest tax bracket, and Biden butt might take it to 60, which I ain't mad at them. Do what you do. I render unto Caesar what's Caesar's. I render unto Uncle Sam what's Uncle Sam, and cause God got me. So understand it. I know God will elevate my 60% or my 40% if they take my taxes to 60%. God gonna increase my 40% to where I can live a comfortable life off that 40. And so now this compared to on my old job, you probably paying 10%, 15%, and then you get a tax return. So this is the difference, right? So now let's say I'm coming home $5.30. $5.30. 70 cents. Out of that $5.70, if I save 10%, that is, so now I go to $5.20. If I invest 10%, now I go to $4.70. And so now I'm left with $4.70. $4.70 out of my $10. Now paint the picture. $470 out of my $1,000. $47,000 $47,000 out of my $100,000. $470,000 out of my 1 million. And forgive me if it's, four and something else. So you see what I'm saying? So now imagine that now. Now imagine that. So now out of this, let's say 470,000, so you could really feel it. So let's say out of you make $1 million, now you down to 470,000. Out of that 470,000, you would say, well, your tithes is 47,000. No, not for me. I give 100,000. I give 100,000. So now 470,000 goes to 370,000. And my tithes, I'm not giving it to a church because I don't go to a church regularly to be able to fund that church. I am the ministry. So I sow it to God's work, helping a homeless family get into an apartment, helping a single mother get a new car. That's how I am the church. We all are the church. We all the body of Christ. And the city I live in, and because of my son's schedule, we don't get to go to church. I'm gonna explain something else to you about that, because right there, a whole lot of traditional religious Christians just tripped and fell. What? The Bible says, forsake not the assembly, or you need to be up under somebody. And all of this right here, right? For one, my dad's a pastor, and he don't actively preach, but he had a church, and he let it go. But what you got to understand, when God called you to ministry, it's certain times where when you call to something and you live a certain way and God show you certain things, you're not going to be able to recognize. And a lot of people don't understand this. This is a whole nother level now. This is a whole nother level because a lot of people worship their pastor. But I know your pastor. I know several pastors that I have met personally. And the one pastor I really started liking the guy, man. He's a really cool guy. I was like willing to do anything for him. I helped him build his brand on Twitter because I was real big on Twitter back then and he wasn't. And that pastor divorced his wife with 3 kids for no apparent reason. she wasn't. It wasn't like she was like super like fit and all of that. Like, but she wasn't overweight. But she wasn't, like model body and all of that. But she done had 3 of his kids, and she in her 40s, late 40s, and her body, she was in good shape considering she done had 3 kids, and her metabolism is slower in her 40s. And she helped him start his church. She helped him start his church. She was the choir director. She the lead singer. She's the backbone. He would not have been where he was without her. And they have been married like 12 years. And he divorced her. And he knows I work in love and relationships. He never told me about the divorce. He never told me he was thinking of a divorce, because he already know I would see through it. He already know that God done gave me a level of wisdom in that space that you can't pull the wool over my eyes. But he went to church and preached sermons and pulled the wool over several of his members' eyes, talking about soulmates and all of this right here, and purpose mates and all of this here garbage, but left the woman. The only way in the world I'm going to leave my wife, especially the mother of my 3 children, is if she cheats on me. That is the only way. And that never happened, because I talked to her personally. I talked to his old security guard personally. And the security guard left the church, quit, and was on the wife's side and said, Tony, this disgusts me, made me lose faith in church. And the man left to go marry another woman who is a prominent speaker and preacher, but she is the heir to the throne of a mega church, of a large church. So now knowing him and realizing who he is and what he about, he did it for the platform, not for the love. Because the age difference is too different. I know he don't feel like she on his same level intellectually and mentally stimulating, because she too young. She too young. And she ain't got it like that. And so I seen this right here happen. And then I seen another pastor close to only focus on the money. Another pastor close to only focus on the money. God started to show me. Tony, the devil out here working. He's saying it's finna be something different. I'm finna do something different. He said, yes, Tony, you done did everything that these pastors done did. But you did it more than a decade ago. You done been that same person, but you done changed your life. And I need you to stay on the straight and narrow, because I'm a God who is a redeemer. Nobody is perfect. Everybody falls short of the glory of God. But God say, who gonna get up and repent? I ain't worried about you falling into sin. Are you going to get up and repent? Are you going to change your heart? Are you going to renew your heart and renew your mind and go on to be who you call to be? That's what God's saying. So listen to me. Here go the thing. To where God started to show me this. And then what was happening is my son started to play soccer every Sunday. So we couldn't go to church. But then me having the level of understanding that God has given me, I could not sit under any one of the men that I knew. As a pastor, all the churches around me, God gave me the ability to where I could see a man for who he is. And I could see complacency. I could see sacrilegiousness. I could see gaming the system. I did not see a pure heart for the work of God. Even if they started out with a pure heart. Sometimes when your passion becomes your job loses it's passion. I understand that. Because I get paid as a coach, as a consultant, and it's a lot of times I'm not passionate about it. But when I started, I was very passionate about it. But then after a while, it can become a transaction, a business transaction, and you have to renew your mind. So I have to sit and I have to renew my mind. I have to say, okay, Tony. All right, Tony. Lock all the way in. Lock all the way in, Tony. Lock all the way in. Listen to what this person's saying so you can help them have a breakthrough. And I have to renew my mind. And a lot of pastors not doing that. But then God said something to me and my wife. He said, listen. He said, listen. He said, look at the pastor's kids. And then look at your kids. And so we just went down the line. This pastor kid, this pastor kid, this pastor kid, this pastor kid. All of the pastor kids were the polar opposite of our kids. The pastor's kids cursing, having sex, some getting pregnant at 13, some at 16. My sister, pastor's daughter, got pregnant at 16. Me, pastor's son, fornicating from the age of 15. So I could even look at my own household. And then look at your kids. People come to my wife and say, I can tell that your son is in church every Sunday and that he has an amazing relationship with God. And we just laugh to ourselves because my son can count on one hand how many times he gets to go to church on Sunday because of his soccer. And the Lord said something to me. He said, remember the quote that says, sitting in a garage does not make you a car, no more than sitting in church makes you a Christian. And what the Lord started to minister is that my message, my work is through you. The church is where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name. And if you don't have a second person to gather with, going to God alone is enough. You could reach God yourself. Now, if you have found someone where you could sit under, or your schedule allows you to sit under somebody at church, and you see that the work of the Lord is being done in there, then by all means be there. But that's not going to be everybody's story. That ain't going to be everybody's story. And see, God don't deal with his children with a broad stroke. See, although God has no respect of persons, God still understands your mission, your message. My mission and message may not be is not going to be the same as your mission and message. God still hands us out individual purposes in life. We don't all have, the purpose is to be a light for Christ. That's the common denominator. But yours may be in church. Mine may be in a classroom, on YouTube, on Instagram. Somebody else may be through dance. Somebody else may be through song. Somebody else may be through sport. So me and my wife, we said, listen, okay, we chose to do what it takes to have a child. Now we choose to give our child the best possible life that our children can have. If the life that our children chose is to play soccer, and if soccer requires that they play on Sunday, then we have to have a relationship with God ourselves. We have to pray. So every night my sons have to pray and read a devotion. Every morning my sons have to pray. When I go to school with them and my wife have me and I'm driving them to school because she have a routine with them, my sons pray every morning before they get out the car. My sons have to read their Bible or read their devotional. My wife instills a relationship with Christ in the life of my sons, a real relationship. Whereas when a child is just going to church, the parent forgets to make them pray, to pray with them. My wife don't make them pray, she pray with them. Every night, every morning. So now And you know what? My son been coming in our room. My oldest son, 14, he been coming in our room, hugging her, hugging me, and then going to bed. My wife stopped going to his room and having him pray. I'm gonna get her back to having him pray with him, and that's her thing. That's her thing. So see, and when you're in a relationship, everything ain't for you. You can't step on your spouse's toes. You let your spouse operate in their gifts and their strengths, and you stay out the way, and you operate in your gifts and your strengths. Me and my sons have different relationship that's just for me, not for their mama. It's stuff they gonna come to me about that they not gonna go to their mama about. It's stuff they gonna go to their mama about that they not gonna come to me about. You got to be okay with that and not be jealous of the relationship your spouse have with your children, because you can't be everything to everybody. You got to be what you call to be. And so listen, these people at my son's school, which is a Christian private school, do not know that my son does not go to church on Sunday. They think my son go to church every single Sunday because of the way he carries himself, the way he treats people, the way he talks, the way he prays. When a child have to pray, my son was asked to pray about 9/11, and he prayed in a group, and it was a man that was visiting, a grandfather who was rich. He was there visiting, and this wealthy man, and the reason why I say rich is because the Bible says it's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of the needle. Not talking about your sewing needle, talking about the needle in the city, where the arch that you walk through, than it is for a rich man to enter into the gates of heaven. This man heard my son pray. He went to the teacher. He said, "Who is that?" He said, "I gotta meet him." He wanted to meet my son, shake his hand, and take a picture with him. The librarian or the teacher sent that picture to my wife and said, "We were all floored and in tears with your son's prayer." They didn't realize they listening to the prayer of a prayer warrior. Because since the day he could talk, my wife has had him pray every single day. So he didn't have to step in church to be a Christian. He's a Christian in the walls and outside of the walls. And when we can go to church, we'll go to church. But see, the thing is too, his dad built a brand with over 3,300,000 people online. So when we go to church, his dad and his mom have to take pictures, have to meet people who may be crying over the message that they heard from a YouTube video. And so now he sees his father going to get filled up, but yet being tugged on, yet being pulled from. He also understands, and we understand, that being in a smaller city, he understands and we understand that I and we can become a target, because they rob in my city. They follow you in my city. And we're not in a big enough city to where having 3 million followers online is nothing. When you got 3 million people online in a city this size, you a celebrity. So you can't really go into church the same as somebody else going into church just to worship. You going to church, it all eyes on you. People trying to sit by you, they trying to pitch a business idea, they want to take pictures, they want you to sign something. The next time you come, they bring all their books to get signed. You coming to get fed, and yet you getting pulled from. And so that right there, it puts me in a place to where I kind of have to protect my family. And I can't let anybody in my city see me make a move over and over and over and over and over to where they could clock me, to where they could plot on me. And so, because I know the devil in there too. Women with a Jezebel spirit, men with a greedy spirit of greed, and they just want to get close and play cool, play buddy because they want something from me. And I done seen it happen. Men will see me and won't say a word to me forever until they find out what I do. And when they find out what I do, now they come up and talk. Now they want to be cool. Now they want to be friends. And so I see it all the time. So I have to watch the way I move. So we have to have a relationship with God ourselves. And it's certain time, and not everybody going to have the same calling. Not everybody going to have the same gifting. So it's going to be certain situations to where you're going to be. I just got to make sure I could keep an eye on my time. Because I'm just flowing today. To where, and everybody ain't going to understand everything. Everybody going to have a scripture that they want to apply to your life. But if they ain't heard what God told you and what God then gave you a peace with. Because see, with me, if I go to do something and I heard it and I said, this is what I want to do. This what I want to do right here. If I go to do something and nothing happens, if it don't go right, then that's God telling me, no, that's what you want to do. I ain't saying you that way. I'm keeping you from that for this reason. And the reason is shown to me later. But when I hear something and I make a decision, me and my wife, we come to terms on something and God pour out and our lives are filled with peace and blessings and favor and we living right. That's when we know God is okay with what this decision that we thought we heard in our spirit. See, a lot of times you think you hear stuff, but if God don't give you a bridge, you weren't told to cross. You weren't told to cross. God gonna show you the bridge. If you told to cross, God gonna show you the bridge. God not gonna make you swim with sharks. He ain't gonna make you swim with sharks across the ocean. He gonna part the Red Sea. If he told you to cross. If he told you to build it. You ain't never built nothing in your life. But he told you a storm finna come. Build an ark like this. He gonna give you the tools and the wisdom to build the ark so that you don't drown when the storm come. See, if God told you to leave that job, you gonna see the bridge. Yes, you got to walk by faith, but God done showed you what it looked like in faith, through faith, by faith. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand that. And see, I see sometimes now, they're just doing what people who writing in. Sometimes I'm just gonna have to talk on what God gave me to give you. And this ain't gonna be for everybody. It's gonna be for people who can go in the trenches. See, most people gonna get the 7-minute mark, 15-minute mark. They gone, and they gone. Most people gonna get there. Matter of fact, here go our form. Here go our paper. Cause if you done got to this point, and I got to hide the paper, cause if you done miss, if you ain't got where we at right now we on number 5. I ain't got the blue pen. Where's my blue pen at, huh? The blue pen gone. I must have took my pen. Oh Lord, I ain't got my pen. Oh, let me pull this other charger. Pull these chargers out now. I be sitting here. Phone going all kind of dead in here. Let me keep these chargers out on this desk. See, that's why I told my wife. She say, you can't ever keep nothing clean. You got to spread everything out. I said, baby, that's why I got to spread it out, because I forget that I got it. Here I'm here sitting here, phone be going dead, because my charger right here in my thing, I ain't know it was in there. I done lost my blue pen. I was about to add number 5. I'll be doggone. Y'all give me a second. Because you done came this far. If you done been keeping up with our little notes that we be taking, the little things I have you write down, I got to give you one. And see, all of this right here, all this require patience. All this require humility. All of this requires, see, people don't understand that it's a method to what I do, but it's what God gave me to do. This what the Lord told me, and I'm gonna share this because you deep in the waters right now. You in deep waters, so I'm gonna share this with you. But God gave this to me. It may be something for you, but if this ain't for you, don't implement this. Don't try to do this. But I'm gonna tell you why my videos be an hour long. Because God spoke to my spirit and said, Tony, you got to go deeper, because the devil is sending people to find holes in what you're teaching. So you cannot leave holes in what you're teaching, because the adversary is looking to sift you like wheat. He wants to get you and to get a sound bite from you and to turn that into a little clip and to show that to the world and say, oh, this is what he is teaching, and to misquote you and to use that sound bite to make you look like a fool. So Tony, you got to go all the way through. You got to be thorough so that if they do that, you then could go and say right after that is where I explain what I was talking about and why I said that. Nah. Y'all remember we used to say nah. So we on number 5. And I can't catch you up on the first 4. I can't tell you what those was, because this right here, what I'm doing, is just for certain people who watch every video to the end and they learn and they grow. You see what I'm saying? That's what this for. And when God tell me, okay, we there, we good, we there. So now listen, number 5 is get in the trenches. Get in the trenches with an exclamation mark at the end. You got to put an exclamation mark at the end now. What's that lesson? Pay attention to detail. It's like people are writing in about a course and they'll ask a question and the answer is in the course. Shot a video on it. Said it on, put that in there, but they didn't read or they didn't listen. And then they'll take up time. You see what I mean? So I'm saying get in the trenches. You put number 5, you put the little period, and then you write get in the trenches, exclamation mark. If you don't have 1 through 4, it's no sense in keeping up with this right here. No sense in keeping up with this, because this right here, you know, when we get to where we going, you'll need all of them. You'll need all of them. And God gonna give me what to do with this here, but you'll need all of them. And ain't gonna be no exceptions made. Cause this ain't for fly by night people. My channel ain't for fly by night people. My message ain't for fly by night people. It ain't what it is. This for people who want to get in the trenches. This for people who really want to do the work. This for people who really trying to grow. This for people who got enough wisdom of a mindset to be able to hear somebody else's opinion and hear from somebody else's experiences, and even if they don't agree with everything, to be able who can respect somebody else who is proven. That's the thing. Who is showing that they live what they teach in every aspect, life, love, and business. Somebody who is proven but can respect what somebody is saying and use even what they don't like to help them grow. To use even what they don't agree with to help them grow. This ain't for everybody. This for certain people. This for the top 1%. You know why? Because I want to be the top 1%. I'm working on my body right now. Let me tell you what I'm doing. Me and my wife, we did a walk. We did a walk today. That was nothing. Right now, I'm on the keto. Right now. That's not something that's sustainable long term in my opinion. It's not something that's smart to do long term in my opinion. But I'm doing it for a week first, you know, just to kind of just shock my body. Just let them carbs, because my body, I hold a lot of carbs. So doing without the carbs right now. And just doing meat and veggies, you know, meat and veg. Or this morning I had turkey with egg whites. You see what I mean? And just stay away from putting it on my bagel for right now. And that's what my body needs. You and your scientists, that don't work for your body. My wife, she will not do keto because that don't work for her body. But it worked for my body because I'm built different. It don't work for her body because she built different. So see, you got to do what's for you, not what somebody else say they do because for them. You do it for you do like it's the man write the book about waking up at 5 a.m. I did that. That don't work for me. That does not work for me at no given point of time. Going to bed 9:30 do not work for me. It don't make no sense for me to if I'm going to bed at midnight to wake up at 5, because now I'm only getting 5 hours worth of sleep. So my body naturally wake up about 7 o'clock. Sometimes I wake up 5 or 6 because I have to urinate. If I done drunk a bottle of water right before bed or something, then I go urinate, I get back into bed. And then my body will sleep to 7, 8, or 9, or probably no later than 9. And when my body wake up, my body is saying, we rested. And I say, okay, now I get on up. Now I could do that right now because I don't have to go to a job. And the fact that God let me get to this place, I'm going to take full advantage of that. I'm not going to be waking up 5 o'clock in the morning. That don't work for me. So see, this is what you have to understand, is that you have to be able to go in the trenches and get the knowledge that you need to grow, because I'm trying to be a 1% person in the top 1% of the world in every aspect of my life. And everything is not reasonable. So I'm 37 years old. Guess what? I want an 8-pack. I want an 8-pack. But listen. This the thing now. Listen. This thing. And I'm gonna walk you down through this, and I'm gonna take you through what I'm dealing with, my reasoning on this, okay? Now listen, I want an 8-pack. Because never have you seen a flat stomach. See, I want an 8-pack because I know my body could have an 8-pack. If you say I want a flat stomach, my body not gonna do an 8-pack now. My body ain't gonna do no abs. I just want a flat stomach because I done had a flat stomach before. Now, if you've never had a flat stomach in your life from the time you came out the womb, then that's just not in your calling. But I had an 8-pack. I live different now. It ain't just about metabolism. I eat different. I live different. So I ain't got no 8-pack. I got a 2-pack. And I got to be depleted to have that. So I'm finna get me an 8-pack. And so when I get my 8-pack, you probably most likely won't see it unless my wife take a picture of us at the beach or something like that and post it. But unless where she want to be, that picture ain't gonna get posted anyways. And I'm not gonna post it just of me by myself, because that's a thirst trap. Because I ain't got to show all that. No, you don't need to be saying all that right there. No, go ahead about your business. You see what I'm saying? That's just for me and for my life, my health, and for my wife, even though she don't care. She done told me, she was like, 8-pack, I'm not gonna love you anymore. I'm not gonna be attracted to you any more than I'm attracted to you right now. Like, it's gonna, I'm gonna be happy for you. Yeah, it's cool. You got an 8-pack. Oh, that's nice, cool. But she was like, it's not like I'm finna, do anything different than I'm doing now. And so I'm like, I get it. I respect that. I'm thinking she just finna come rip my shirt off. But I had to remember, that ain't who I married. That ain't never been her. Even when I had an 8-pack, that's not the type of woman she is. And so I had to remember that. So now listen, I want that 8-pack, right? I want my business to keep doing well. And I want it to do better. I'm going to push to the next level. I'm still creating. So I want to be in the top 1% in what I do in business. And I want to be in the top 1% in my body. I want to be in the top 1% in my service and how much I give to people, in my knowledge and how much wisdom I acquire from God. I want to be in the top 1%. So when I come and I do my messages on this YouTube, I'm going to be challenging you to push you to the next level. So I'm not going to say, hey, fornication is okay. It's 2021. Fornication is, it's okay. God will forgive. I'm not going to say that. That might be the truth, but I'm not going to say it because I know that fornication could lead to a whole bunch of other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be with Angela. I'm not going to be watching pornography because I know it creates an addiction in the mind, and your brain becomes addicted to the release, and it also feeds lust, which then leads you to want to experience and fulfill that lust in real life, which pulls you further away from your spouse, or if you're single, it blocks you from meeting your spouse because you have taken care of that part of your life, which has your brain getting the release and the high from what you're doing to yourself sexually, so that now you feel content and complete, and you put a wall up between you and your spouse, or you and your potential spouse. I understand what it does to the brain. So that's why I don't want no parts of it. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be ever drunk because I don't want to alter the state of my mind. I don't want to increase my alcohol intake or my alcohol tolerance so that my body requires more and more and more to feel a buzz, so that then I become a drunkard or a alcoholic, and then now my brain or my kidneys and things start to suffer due to the alcohol abuse. I don't want to do that. The other thing is I don't want to eat just bad. Like, I have me a thing of Popeye chicken once a month, once every 2 months or 3 months, because I like the taste of their chicken, but I'm not going there every day. I'm not going there every week. You see what I'm saying? So I'm doing things in moderation with balance. So I'm going to live, and I'm not going to be just gung-ho about anything unless that thing could destroy my life if I did it all the time. And so it's kind of like this right here. I'm not going to cheat on my wife. So I want to be a top 1% husband. I want to love my wife on the fullest level that I can love her. However I can show that. Today, it was an hour walk letting her talk. Without talking, making it about me. And the business ideas and the business ventures I want to do. I listened to her. We talked about everything her friend talked to her about. Or another mom talked to her about. Another mom, what that mom talked to her about. What another mom talked to her about. We talked about the vaccine. We talked about raising kids. We talked about youth sports. We just talked about what she wanted to talk about. We talked about houses and building houses and what part of the neighborhood you want to live in. And we just talked. And I didn't make it about business. And I said to myself, I'm going to see. I say, this the test. Let me see if my wife asks me, so how is my mentor.life doing? Do you know my wife has never asked me how my mentor.life is doing? Because she could not care less. Because she do not worry about business. She focused on the home, our kids, me, our peace and happiness, and she don't care about business. But she let me know, she has not ever had to care because I always talk to her about it. But she let me know, she told me, she said, listen, everything business-wise, bring it to me. Like, you could talk to me about anything business, and I'll talk with you as long as it takes. She said, we done talk hours about business, so don't think I don't want to talk about business. She's like, I'm cool talking about business, but it just ain't what's on my mind. And rightfully so, because she don't have to go out and hunt. She don't have to go out and create, because that's what I'm doing. Because she doing what she doing right now as a mother and a wife and a friend and a daughter and a consultant and a mentor in her circle, and she don't have the capacity to add anything else on her plate business wise. And so this is what you have to understand, is you have to be able to look and see, okay, what do I want and what am I willing to do to get it? And you have to look at things, and you have to stop looking at things as a negative. And you got to find the positive in it. You got to find the lesson in it. And when you find the lesson in it, that's where you grow. And you have to shift from woe is me and everything is against me to I'm going to win. I'm going to work and I'm going to win. And I am not going to settle. And I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm not making excuses for myself. So listen, this is why, the reason why I don't curse is I was inspired by the Malcolm X movie when the man said, I told you why I don't masturbate and watch pornography, because of what it does to the brain and the addiction it creates. That's the same reason why I don't get drunk. That's the same reason why I don't smoke. I don't smoke weed. I know sometimes people just think smoking cigarettes is bad, but marijuana is addicting too. I don't do that because I don't want my body to be dependent on anything other than food, water, and sleep. That's all I want my body to be dependent on. I don't want my body to be dependent on coffee, on alcohol, on nicotine, on marijuana, on sugar. You see what I mean? So anytime I feel like, oh, been drinking too much juice, your body gonna get addicted to that. Oh, let me detox. Let me cleanse. No juice. No juice for the whole week. Whole 2 weeks. Reason being, you reset your body. You take your body from being dependent on that coffee, that juice, that whatever it is. And if it's not a literal health benefit that countless studies have proven, if there's a literal health benefit to black coffee or coffee with some sugar, and it's a health benefit, then okay. If there is a literal health benefit to marijuana for you, if it help you with your glaucoma, which I heard about, I don't even know why I slapped the face, but I don't even know what glaucoma is, but I just heard it on the movie Friday or next Friday. If there's a literal health benefit, if you're going through cancer or chemo and they prescribe you medicinal marijuana, if there's a literal health benefit that doctors and studies have shown that it works, now even if you do it and it make it worse for you, then boom, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Don't take people advice because don't nobody know your complete internal makeup. So you got to be able to apply what's right for you. And listen to me. You got to ask yourself, you got to say, what do I want from life? What do I want from life? And I'm going to tell you something. And I'm just talking right now because I'm helping y'all understand what my life is and what I'm going through and what I deal with and what I see. So right now I'm working on something. And it's kind of like an interview series. It's like an interview series. And I'm trying to interview greats. But the greats think they all that. The greats think they too good. The greats think they too busy. And I get it though. Because I don't do interviews. Now these greats, they got to do interviews for their job. For the industry they in. They already got to do interviews anyways. But a lot of them, it's some of them that's humble. But a lot of them think they too good. So guess what? If it doesn't work out, the message to me is, the message is not to keep pushing. Because see, God gives gifts and adds no sorrow. When God in the midst, it's finna flow. You hear me? So I said that to my wife. I said, if this don't work out, if everybody kind of give me a no and everybody kind of brushing me off, God telling me, no, this is not what I want you to do in this season. This ain't what I'm calling you to. This might be what somebody else wants you to do. This might be what you want to do. But this ain't what I'm calling you to. So don't go there. So what I'm saying is, God may be saying, listen, I'm trying to save you from connecting your brand to so many different people. I'm trying to save you from becoming an interviewer to where you just interviewing people and you just giving people a platform when you don't really know them people and how they live their life. And you putting people onto these people who could be bad people, but you just know them kind of in passing. You really don't know them. And people count on you. And people have put a level of trust into what you say. So if you introduce them to this person on your platform and they go to that person and the next thing you know, this person scammed them or trying to sleep with them or do this or do that, that reflects back on you. And so if this don't come together, I'm going to take it as that's the message God trying to get to me, because that is the other side of it. That's the other thing that you have to think about when you think about the cons. You can't just think about the pros. You got to think about the cons. And so I'll be fine with that. I'll be okay with that. And then the same people that told me no, guess what? They will need me later down the line to operate in my gifting, which may be to help them in their relationship or to help them in life or to help them in business. And I'll be there for them because that's my gifting. Now, see, I don't do interviews right now because I give so much of myself and I pour out so much. I understand that people don't really care about you on the interviews. They just doing an interview just to fill a roster spot. And I just don't want to waste my time just to fill a roster spot when the people really don't care about me, my mindset, what I think, what I feel. They've become an interviewer and they got to do interviews. And I'm not finna waste my time on that. So that's why I turn down all interviews unless I know the person personally and I promise the interview. I turn it down from just, strangers and people writing in, because I just, and also I understand that they could take a sound bite and use it against you. They can cut out the beginning, cut out the end, and use it against you. And now you got to be trying to go to court for defamation of character or something. And so I also understand the devil will send people like that too, to try to trip you up and trap you and, get you in a sound bite that they could use against you. And so the Lord will show you these things when you say, what do I want in my life? And then you have to ask yourself, okay, what is it going to take to get it? What is it going to take to get it? And then when you look at what it takes to get it, you have to realize, and nothing is for free. Just like if it's advertisements that YouTube placed in here, YouTube placed the ads. I don't place the ads. But you know what I don't do? I don't make a habit of going in and deleting the ads or moving them around. You know why? Because I let experts do what experts do in their thing. And they say this where the ads need to be. So I let the system do what it does. And so guess what? That means this video is not free to you because the video being interrupted by an ad. But that's what life is going to be. When you're going on the road to destiny, you will have to pay tolls. It won't just be smooth sailing. On the road to destiny, I wrote a book a long time ago called The Road to Destiny. I think Amazon doggone took it out of print. It was on Kindle, because if it wasn't formatted right, and I don't think it was formatted. But I wrote a book called The Road to Destiny. And on the road to destiny, there will be rest stops. There will be traffic jams. There will be roadblocks. There will be detours. There will be potholes. There will be hitchhikers. You see what I mean? There will be speed limits. On the road to destiny, you still will there will be tolls. You will have to pay a toll. You will have to follow the speed limit. You will have to be careful who you pick up and let ride with you. Everybody got to have gas money. There will be rest stops for you to get some rest, but you can't sleep too long or rest too long at that rest stop. You got to watch out. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the road, because you got to watch for potholes. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a flat tire. Now, metaphorically speaking, make this mean something for your life. Metaphorically speaking, make this mean something for your life. Listen. If you got here, put in the comments, I got here. I got here. Just right, I got here. I'm just curious to see who got here. And then what we going to see in the I got here, we're going to see, if you go through them comments and you count the comments, it's going to be 1% or less than the number of views that you see. Do this for your own. Do this for your own work. Now, if it's more than 1% that you of comments that you read that say I got here, do this for your own level of greatness study, your own study of greatness. Then you know that a group of like-minded people is coming together, and that I'm gonna block a lot of the devil minions. Because I be blocking because I'm trying to protect the space, because I don't want anybody to be led astray in the comments by somebody nasty spirit or evil spirit. I be blocking. So now listen, go through the comments. You type I got here if you got here. Type I got here. And then read how many people type I got here. And then look at the amount of views on the video. So that means if it's 1,000 views, 1% is 10 I got here's. If you see 10,000 views, 1% is 100 I got here's. See if you see more than 1%. See if you see more than 1%. And this kind of stuff I do. And every day when I get the time, I was up last night about 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I was doing? I was reading comments. From midnight to 1, I had to go through and read comments. One lady, she gonna write last week, Tony, you're too big at your level to be reading comments. That's what you think because you're worldly. See, when you are a servant, you never too big. That's why I coach for $350 an hour. and be losing thousands of dollars when I'm on that phone, because you have to have some level of accessibility. That's why I added the live calls to the course, moving on, that 2 people wrote in complaining about it. And it's like, you got to have a level of accessibility. You can't get too big for everything. And that's people's problem, but that's when they operate from arrogance and not humility. See, humility coincides with confidence. Arrogance comes from weakness and insecurity. And see, this is the thing. It's men that I'll reach out to. And now let me tell you this right here. Let me tell you this right here. If a young man reach out to me, and this a young brother, and he doing the right thing, and he living right, and or he married, or he's setting a good example, and he say, hey, can I pay you for a coaching session? Can I interview you? If I see this young man is investing in himself, and everything checks out and is pure, I'm going to do everything I can to connect with that young man. Do you know it's men that I reach out to, and they'll respond to me, but then they'll ignore me. Hey, can I interview you? Hey, can I pay you $10,000 to come spend a day with you? They'll ignore me because I just want to learn from the level of greatness. Do you know they will ignore me? And the reason why they ignore me is I don't know why they ignore me. But when I look at it though, if I put myself in their shoes, if somebody live a lifestyle that I don't live, I feel uncomfortable in their presence, because I feel like they're judging me, or that I'm unworthy, or I feel something like that. If they live this whole nother level and I'm living the opposite and I know I'm in the wrong, I feel guilty being around them. And that's what's going to happen as you perfect yourself, as you work on yourself. You're going to get to a place to where people who are okay being average and common will not be comfortable with you. They will not be comfortable with you. And you have to know that. You got to realize that. You got to understand that. And so this is what I want you to think about now. And this is what I see. And I remember I met a young man. This was a celebrity making money. And when I met him, he said, Tony, I'm around so many celebrities and I'm never nervous. He was like, I'm so nervous to meet you, man. I'm kind of like almost shaking. And I was like, wow. I was like, hey, man, don't worry about it, man. Ain't nobody, man. What you mean? Ain't nobody, man. You big time, man. What you talking about, man? I just want to talk to you, man. Just interview you. I was shooting a documentary or something. I was doing some work. It come out later. Later came out, he was arrested for violently abusing the mother of his child. That's why my spirit disrupted his spirit, because he wasn't on the same thing that I'm on. So it made him feel uncomfortable. He had a guilty conscience because of the man that he was and the way he was living. That's why that pastor who divorced his wife of 12 years with 3 kids, who would call me about business, would call me to promote his book, would call me to retweet him, would call me to come speak at his church. I had met him. We had lunch, dinner several times. I had spoke at his church 3 times. I got clients to this day from speaking at his church. How the man never and at this time I was the #1 relationship coach in the country who he could actually reach. Didn't call me for nothing. When I had a 24-year-old young man text me yesterday and say, I'm feeling stupid. And I said, bro, what you talking about? Like, what you responding to, or what message, like, what you talking about? And then he screenshot what I sent to him. He said, where my message said, if you ever feeling like taking a stupid pill, doing something stupid, call me. Talking about, cheating on this girl. This 24-year-old young man called me. He called me on FaceTime. Yeah, I done talked for 2 hours and 20 minutes. 2 hours and 20 minutes. But somebody will call me a narcissist. That's what you got to be ready for. And I always remind myself, I don't compare myself to Jesus, but I remind myself, look at the perfect work that he did and what they did to him. What can we expect with the imperfect work we doing? But this young man, 24 years, called me on FaceTime, and we was on FaceTime for 1 hour talking. So why this here pastor couldn't call me when he know me? He know I'm faithful to my wife. He know how I move. He know how I'm living. But he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew it was against the will of God. He knew he was doing it for the wrong reasons. He knew it. So see, the lesson here is when you start to grow and you start to change, although you're not judging anybody, although you're willing to go in the trenches and help people grow, most people don't want to grow. Most people don't want to change. Most people don't want to do it. Most people don't want to do it. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. And that's what you got to understand. So listen, hey, this is Tony Gaskin. And as I'm talking to you, God talking to me. And God showing me a couple things right here and now. For my life and for some of the people that, for some of the things I'm working on and people I'm working with that I need to look deeper into and to understand why some of this stuff might be on hold and might be taking so long and might be falling through. And it's because God is saying, I did not authorize you to attach your favor to them. God may say, I called you to work alone because of what I call you to build. Everybody can't be in alignment with you because they unwilling to do what you do. They unwilling to sacrifice the way you sacrifice. They unwilling to live the way you live. So I cannot pour out and bless you if you got sin in the camp. If they unwilling to renew their heart and mind the way you have renewed your heart and mind, my blessing cannot be on that. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. You can't think about just money. You got to think about the means. You got to think about the people. And now at the same time, on the flip side, you could be attached to people to help them grow. But if you don't see them growing and changing, that lets you know you can't sow good seed on bad ground. Oh my goodness. That ain't no revelation. We already know that. We already heard that. But sometimes we hear stuff without hearing stuff. Sometimes we hear it without hearing it. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey, wow, Lord. I got some ties I need, some business ventures and some things I need to rethink. That I need to ponderosa, sizzler. I need to ponder over. And I want you to do the same. And listen to me. This is one last thing I'm going to tell you. Don't be afraid of perfection. We know that it's not attainable, but it is pursuable. We know it's not attainable. One person, I think it was Vince Lombardi, said that I know perfection is not attainable, but in the pursuit of it, I will catch excellence. And Jesus tells us in the Bible to be perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. So what I'm challenging you to do is don't settle or be comfortable for any sin or shortcuts that you've taken in your life in the name of normality, in the name of humanness, in the name of I'm not perfect. No, work on it and get better at it. And some things will be a lifelong struggle, but as long as you are warring and struggling with it, God will honor the fight in you. You will be blessed and rewarded. You will be graced and peaced and poised for the war that you are in for your life. But you have to stay in it, and you cannot bow out, because we are instructed to be better, to be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. So keep working, keep getting better, keep consecrating your life, keep doing what you're called to do. And I need to sit down today and think on this thing and hear from God on what I need to do moving forward, and some of the ventures and things, opportunities in my life, to see, is this God or is this me? That's what we got to identify. Is this God or is this me? Is this my flesh? Is this my greed? Is this my frustration? Or is this God? What am I doing? What am I doing? Has God given me enough, but yet I'm squandering what God has given me because of where I'm operating from? That's the conversation that I got to have with myself. That's the question I got to ask myself, and I'm asking you to ask yourself, so we could grow together. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I struggle with this, this battle, this duality of, like, I struggle turning on the advertisements when I do a video that's deep and that's from the heart. And the reason why I struggle with it is because I know it might be a tarot reader putting an advertisement on here. And so I struggle with it. But then if I give away 2.5 hours of my life at a time, and I don't allow myself to be, it's not that there was no compensation available, but I closed the door to the compensation, then I'm losing my life, and God can't even get a blessing to me, or I can't receive anything in return. And so then I have to, then I hear a scripture say, well, the workman is worth his wages, and double if he's faithful. And that if you don't work, you don't eat. So if you're working, you should be able to eat from your work. And that's where we have to identify when we go into the marketplace and we put a price on our services, we put a price on what we're doing. If you have to work, then you should be able to eat from your work. And I struggle with that. But see, then on the flip side, I feel like, if God say do not muzzle the mouth of the ox as it plows the field. So see, God is not against someone being paid. God is not against, God is all for you getting your worth. But see, what'll happen is, if you're giving, and you're not receiving, you become depleted. And you become depleted. And when you are depleted, now you start to resent the work. And that's why I tell my Christian coaches, when you can't coach with a smile, increase your rate. Because you're giving too much and you're not receiving enough in return. Increase your rate. And if the people respect you and they appreciate you, they'll increase with you. And if they don't, you'll only be leaving behind those people that don't deserve to be in your presence anyways, because they don't value you and respect you and your time and your gifting. So listen, hey, think on this. I could go another 30 minutes, but God bless you. Now, you know what? We're going to finish right here. But if you got here, I want you to add number 6. I want you to add number 6 to your thing. And I want you to write with an exclamation mark, write, I made it. Number 6. God bless you.